Hello, hello, hello. Pardon me, I will be here momentarily. Thank you very much, MG, for joining up to Chimp. Is my mic working? Yes, okay. Hello, am I back? I'm back, and the stream is about to start. Is that true? Are we all here? Can we hear me? Is everything ready? Thank you very much for everybody that's tuned in. Are we all here? If I see one I can hear you in chat, then I'll continue. Yes, okay, so we're here. But you'll notice that you can't see me. I am, to those who don't know me, completely anonymous. Perhaps you've heard about me. You'll know I have a degree of experience and a degree of knowledge. And so it's not uncommon that people ask me what's going on with the economy. I am above doubt. I am no cretin. I have no short agenda. I dismiss the idea that short selling is a healthy part of an efficient market. I believe there is enough money in the world for everybody. There is enough food for everybody. And there is enough compassion that nobody should be homeless, hungry, or alone. So when people ask me what is going on with the economy, I don't sell the apocalyptic Carmageddon narrative. I carry a message of hope. I don't usher in disaster with precocious tweets. Instead, here at Tradespotting, we try to educate, enlighten, and explain. So when people ask me what is going on with the economy, I recall the work of those great minds who've gone before us, from Adam Smith's invention of capitalism and economics to John Maynard Keynes' theories of macroeconomics and the causes of business cycles, both of whom were trying to save us and solve the same problem. That is, for one man to be rich, do 500 others have to be poor? So when people ask me what is going on with the economy, I like to point out that we have a system in place that took hundreds of years to develop, that is designed to benefit us all, that is underpinned by the human or constitutional right to invest in and talk about any stock I feel like. And when people ask me what is going on with the economy, I try to make it clear that the governments who create and uphold this system are democratic. They serve at the discretion of the public, and their sworn duty is to protect your fundamental rights, your fundamental freedoms. This is the role, and they do it well, but the system could be better. There is no need for cretinous, speculative short selling. And yes, I'm talking to you, Michael Burry. It is enough to be free to sell stocks you own and not buy in the first place should you not want to. There is no requirement, Michael Burry. No need, Michael Burry. And there is no inherent right, Michael Burry, to sell something that you do not yet own. The systems in place only work as the market has a mechanism that leaves those short sellers holding more risk than those who go long. The free and independent operation of markets depends on this risk being attributed to the participants responsible for creating it. The entire system depends on the liquidation backstop. Those who take advantage and exploit the loopholes are parasites that harm the market. A healthy correction is the utter destruction of those blood-sucking, heartless thieves. And so when people ask me what is going on with the economy, I tell them The same thing that has been going on for hundreds of years. And things are going to be okay. We have rules and procedures to protect us from those who would exploit and abuse us. Is the market unhealthy? No. The market is a sterile, benign, and uncaring place. What would make it unhealthy? If the rules that are there to protect us are ignored, if the backstop of liquidation is prevented from operating normally, then we can say that the market is being harmed. And that brings us to GameStop, a company allegedly shorted by over 140%. Some evidence suggests perhaps over 300%, and other data suggests hundreds and hundreds of percent more. Nefarious actors want to steal value from your community, from your society, to line their already full pockets. Those who are richest among us, those who are most responsible for the inequality in the world, are trying to steal even more of the sweat, blood, and tears that you and your family have borne in order just to live an adequate life. The machination of liquidity providers, the thievery of short hedge funds, and the abuse of collateral that it takes to facilitate this alleged fraud is massive, systemic, and pervasive. But we have a way to punish those who take these risks that damage the lives of the many to benefit the few. We liquidate those whose risks exceed their ability to pay. The government must at all costs protect this backstop. They must ensure it functions as intended. And they will protect the rights of the many rather than the wealth of the few. Your government must be held to account, or we have far bigger problems on our hands than money. Your government, wherever it is, must protect your rights. They must also ensure that the market expansion contractions caused by economic cycles do not leave the greater population at risk from the immoral and unethical actions of a few. The management of this expansion and contraction process in America is heavily dependent on a system of government bonds. It is imperative that as the lender of last resort, the tools of interest rates and inflation are used properly to ensure the money supply is working to the benefit of you, the people. Currently, the American government would like the velocity of money to increase so that capital expansion can take place in a sustainable and productive manner. It does this by purchasing long-term bonds in order to push down interest rates. And we hear about the government policies designed to change the money supply. What we're talking about is the role of the Fed. When the Fed decides they want to increase interest rates, they sell government bonds. This reduces the price and raises the rate on those bonds. This makes money less plentiful and it drives up the price of borrowing. When the Fed want to lower interest rates, they buy government bonds, which increases the price of them and lowers the interest rate. The government has been selling these bonds, and so people are screaming about inflation. Some iconic hypocrites, here's looking at you, Michael Burry, are saying things are worse in inflation terms than ever before. But this time the economy is operating nowhere near full capacity. More demand can result in increased production of goods and services. Even though demand has increased, so has supply. So prices need not increase in astronomical terms. The world is not ending. Those cretins, $1 late and way late to the party, here's looking at you, Michael Burry, are revisionists. In 2008, everybody knew what was up. It wasn't one man in an office changing the world. I worked in those offices. I know what happened. I don't need to watch a fucking revisionist movie to know the difference between a cretin and a good actor. So here's looking at you, Michael Burry, and here's an example to everybody about the lack of power you're holding by being anonymous. And Think about the benefit that you could bring to the wider society and the community that you lead by showing your face, being who you truly are, and putting your identity up there on the front line with the rest of us. Be wary of false idols. Be weary of anonymous leaders. Take your time to do the TA and learn. Learn how to make money from the market. Learn how to make your own decisions and learn to trust nobody. Welcome to Tradespotting. Welcome back to the greatest story ever told about the greatest show we've ever seen. I'll join you in a couple of minutes for an in-depth look at the charts.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
Good morning, Doomslayers. How are we all today? As usual, I am my calm and placid self. How are all of you? Oh look, my hair doesn't look so bad. I guess that's the benefit I get from having recently left the shower. Wookhawk, how's it going, Wookhook? Dame Pokerus, how you doing, buddy? I'll learn the drums and we can jam. It's great to see everybody. Thanks so much. To see that donations have come in. LG Forstum Custom Fabrication super chatted $5. Why doesn't Cohen blow the lid off GameStop already? Just tweet the share offering and it's done. 3, 2, 1 ignition. Well, Cohen is backed by BlackRock, so they will be operating in tandem for Sellotape. Well, if you can find some, Rocky, I'll be able to sellotape this wire back in and that'll stop happening. At 25 years old, I lost everything in 2008, even though I work in science, technology, engineering and mathematics. I'm fortunate enough to have a salary that took 12 years to be able to afford a home after losing mine in 2009. Burry profited off that and he's no hero. Thank you for M.A. Campisi, yeah. Not only did he profit from it, he drove the narrative. And while market corrections can be seen as healthy, that is only one way of looking at the story. When in fact, a healthy market is merely one where people don't take advantage of each other and exploit loopholes. Where large liquidity providers don't use their power to exploit and take advantage and abuse you. And Michael Burry is nobody's hero but his own. If you're young enough to remember, you will remember, and you don't need a movie to try and change your opinion of not only what happened in the world, but who those actors that drove the narrative were. So when somebody tells you something's worse by an order of magnitude, it does really help to understand what that reference point they're using is. And I feel for you, M.A. Campisi. I was in a very similar situation to yourself. Having worked in my life to that point to be able to afford, I'm back, to be able to afford not just the place I was living in, but to be able to get the job in the first place. My prospects, my livelihood, everything I'd worked for was devalued by him. The house I was living in cost less than the mortgage I had to take to buy it. The job I had spent years working to get was not going to pay me what it would have a couple of years beforehand, and my prospects were severely damaged. Like yourself, it took 10 years for me to recover from that event. Those 10 years have only just passed, and yet here we are again. And who do we find back on Twitter tweeting precociously about the potential for a market correction? And who is it in our community that big these people up, that give them fame that they don't deserve, and who perpetuate the myths and legend that have been created around these false idols? They themselves are often anonymous. And I think everybody here knows that I don't need to go over and above in demonstrating whether or not I'm legit or trustworthy. All I need to do is be myself. And for those who with open eyes, I welcome judgment. And by no means am I a wannabe, but I do want our community to be above reproach. And so, when it is put to me that I have yet to earn trust, or when it is put to me that it may be that I have an agenda, a self-serving one, then I reject it completely, and I'm angry at the suggestion. Not only have we left reasonable land an awful long time ago, but those of us who really believe are willing to put our entire identity and reputation on the line. And so I expect, if not demand, the same from others. Thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in, for everybody who's hit like, and for everybody who's sticking with me. Hey Jamie or Rocky Outcrop, have I read like any of the Hyman Minsky's work? I'm not sure if I have, to be honest, but I've certainly heard of him. Thanks, J Stocks. Tell me more about it. 100% authentic. Woo, my diamond balls trust you. Nail on the head, big un. Thanks, guys. Lindrill, how you doing, mate? Bing bong. The dong is long. Roaring Kitty tweeted again. Shall we check it out, chat? Shall we check out what Roaring Kitty has been saying? I think we could definitely check it out. So there, go via that. So you've seen that, and there it is. It's incredibly expensive, and you shouldn't buy it. Twitter. Jama Karin. I'm at _Jamie_Curran. If you're looking for me on Twitter. Roaring Kitty, please. So this is a scene. This is a scene and a half. He's just returned to his home, hasn't he? He's not even sure who he is. And he knows that there's people out to get him. But he's got skills, a very particular set of skills. And then here we have our cat. A lovely cat sticking his head through a little hole. Looks like it's been cut just for him, doesn't it? I quite like that one. Retweet, have a wee peek at what's going on down there. And then, oh, I see it. There's some people in my house. Let's deal with them. Let's deal with them in the only way we know how. And this is the tweet. At prices of GME, $210, spot 89. Price of AMC, $54, spot 04, 53, spot 89. Team Pokerus, everyone, he is an absolute legend who is amazing at tea and who tells us everything he knows about stocks. His brother Rocky Outcrop is in the chat as well. This is a small summary of Tradespotting. Thank you very much, Team Pokerus. That's very complimentary synopsis. I appreciate it very much. Space Captain, I guess I was directly affected by 2008 because I wasn't able to go to college after high school since Daddy-O ran credit cards through the roof and I've spent the last 5 years paying them off. What a legend you are, Space Captain, doing that for your dad. You're a total gent. I'm sure he's lucky he had a son like you. Griffin, like the stream, or your tendies remain but a dream. Apple Blossom! Stefan S, exactly. What does Stefan say? Probably is true. Nice haircut. I haven't actually had a haircut, I'm just out the shower, but thanks very much, Vivenna. Vivenna777. You're my good luck charm. Can't wait for the apes. Only apes will recognise this chart. Meme post Moas. Yeah, only apes will recognise this chart, as you probably recognised the chart on that t-shirt, Known Pleasures, because we know where prices are going. So if you do want to check out Unreasonable Shop, do have a wee look. It's certainly an enjoyable perusal of items for sale, though I wouldn't expect you to buy any. They're all entirely unreasonable priced, deliberately. 005 is in effect, and they have still managed to borrow 500,000 shares. How is this? I thought they couldn't borrow already borrowed shares. Parasites, the lot of them. Luis Aquiliana. Thanks very much. That's very generous of you, that donation. Cheers, buddy. Yes, how come they have still managed to borrow 500,000 shares? Well, 005 was implemented without very many teeth, just put it that way, or as Rocky described it yesterday, it's an ambiguous and nebulous document that provides them with plenty of get-out clauses and doesn't achieve what we were hoping it would do, certainly not on its own. It may well be that those extra shares that became available to borrow were as a result of the treasury sale of GameStop shares. Now, I am very, very, very tired of hearing people on YouTube, including Matt Kors, talk about how the GameStop share release was a dilution. And it's incredibly frustrating for this misinformation to be put out there. Those shares were purchased by GameStop so that eventually they could sell them. Until that time, they were held in the GameStop treasury. And so, while they didn't have voting rights, they still fucking existed. There was no dilution by selling them. And it's verging on FUD when people are so inaccurate with their information. So, yo, Matt, you're a nice guy. You do a great job. You've got a fantastic community. I understand you're eager to put out a video every day. But there are some very crucial basic bits of information that you'll need to get right, and that's one of them. And those people who also make this mistake, it's a mistake. Ape Huddle says 005 is only filed but not implemented as I understand it. Okay, so there is also this debate about whether or not it's effective immediately, or whether or not this statement also contained within it that the SEC have a right for abrogation will provide them with some implementation period or some leeway with regards to how things are implemented at the beginning. So that's unclear, and nobody can say whether or not it's one way or the other. In my mind, I'd like confirmative answers with regards to that until I make decisions, trading decisions based off the back of it. And on behalf of those people who listen to and trust in the things I say, I feel obligated and have a responsibility to make sure the information I put out there is correct. And so I can't say definitively one way or the other yet whether 005 has been implemented, nor can I say that it will have its intended, the effects that we have speculated it may be intended to have. I do think that it will benefit from the implementation of 002. The question about how the shares are able to be borrowed may be as a result of the share issue, or it may be simply as a result of them having collected some at these low prices in order to add to their own fund, which they then of course loan out to people, because mutual funds that hold stock loan those shares out in order to generate profits for their clients. That's how it works, and that's why shares are available to be borrowed in the first place, or at least a good around 50% of the reason for it. So the fact that shares are available to borrow can be misinterpreted with an amateur glance at something. It certainly needs like a degree of time to analyse the consequences and reasons for those shares existing. So you're right to ask the question, and it's good to keep an open mind about it. It also is share your anger. So I think I've answered that question. What was that? I trust you and appreciate you and Rocky. Kim Robbins, you're a legend. Well, you don't have to trust me. Those lots of people do, but those people that do trust me do it knowing that I recommend you do your own research, that you come to your own conclusions, and that, well, you may trust me. That trust is insofar as that I've got your best interests at heart, not that I know everything or have all the answers, you know. So even in the best of all worlds, those people who trust me implicitly still trust themselves more and make their own decisions. And Kim, you're one of those people, and so are lots of others. So thanks very much. The doc says it's in effect as of filing. Yes, it does say that, Luis. It does say it's in effect as of filing, but it also says within it that the SEC have a right to abrogation, which means that they can change their mind, and they've got a period of time in which to do that. And it's unclear whether or not that means that they would implement any particular rules before that period is over. It's also not sure now from looking at the document and its changes since it was first published, the formatting changes since. It's not clear if the mention of shared control of accounts has any implication for the prospect of rehypothecation and collateral. It's also not clear when they talk about the annotations that are being put on shares that are being used as collateral, so that they can't be used in multiple places for collateral, which is of course part of the fucking problem here. It's not clear if that is implemented with any retrospective action, so it could well be that shares held in dark pools are now available as they always were, despite these changes. So 005 on its own is not, it will never do the job for us, and so there's this aspect to it. It may start taking effect as options start expiring. It may force this issue of kicking the can down the road and the failure to deliver cycle to come to an end, or at least to stop its increasingly pervasive expansion. And so, well, we may have to wait for a period of time. Alternatively, we may have to wait for a combination of other rules to come in, such as 002. It is my obligation and responsibility to all of you to say we cannot make trading decisions yet, and it is clearly a bad idea to hype up expectation and then leave us all at the risk of disappointment, which would have a negative effect on the share price and would have a negative effect on us as a community as a whole. And so it would be unwise, immature, and downright fucking stupid of me to start getting all hyped, pumped, and pass that on to you guys when it isn't necessarily true. And we've seen that mistake made recently in devastatingly bad ways. So I feel it's very pertinent to point that out. Brian Mullen, that's very generous. I am the hero of my own journey, but that doesn't mean I still can't appreciate your insight. Sometimes a Jamie rant is better than a cup of coffee in the morning. Thank you so much, Brian. That's such a nice. That's exactly what I'd love to hear. You know, you are your own hero and you are on your own journey. The nature of risk and the environment in which you're taking these risks presents you with those concrete facts. And I appreciate desperately that you, really grateful that you were able to put that message in there. Thank you. And so being generous with it at the same time does make me feel a little guilty because it's such a purely truthful statement. So thank you so very much. Lucian Scout Diamonds, I've done my research thoroughly and this is definitely the place to be. Rocky Outcrop at Tradespotting. Thank you. And I'd also like to emphasise that we have a number of communities and places where we congregate and talk about our feelings about stonks. One of them, of course, is YouTube, on this channel, in the comments on the subreddit that I run, and on Twitter where we all talk. And the same can be said for everyone who shares that same experience as I do with Rocky Outcrop. And then there are the greater areas where so much of us are and where our larger population lies, and much of that is on Super Stonk, which as a collective is one of the cultural zeitgeists of our time. Another is the RGME, where Super Stonk grew from, and which I have equal and outstanding amount of respect for the mods and the people who launched that community and the people who populate it today, the greater collective that makes up the face of that community. And same goes for Wall Street Bets, which I've come and gone from over the years, but I've been a member of that subreddit on and off for, well, I don't know, like over 10 years, I'd imagine. And while it's full of aggressive, confrontational, hypocritic bastards, it's still like somewhere I like to call home and enjoy spending plenty of time. So don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not here to start a fight with a group of people. Nor am I here to confront anybody in particular. I'm just saying this is the way I see the world. And it is how I see the world. Unfiltered, uncensored, and completely and utterly above reproach. If you have a problem with me, feel free to come and fucking argue with me. You know, I enjoy it. Let's have the argument. Let's have the debate. But if you think you can ignore me, all I'll do is shout louder. All I'll do is spend more time on stream. All I'll do is join other people in other channels and talk to them about the movement and emphasize that we are all on our own hero's journey, that nobody leads us, that nobody stands in front of us. What's your Twitter handle? @_Jamie _CURRAN. That's A for Apple, AN. Thanks very much for asking, Nathan EU. The DD by your man on Super Stonk was scary. Some of the DD that the people do on Super Stonk is outstanding. The people there should be credited with all the work they do. I've noticed a couple of people who do DD on Reddit on Super Stonk have had their shit stolen by other YouTubers. It's a fucking disgrace. You know, I'm not here to say YouTube's better than Reddit or vice versa. That whole argument would be stupid and false. There's good people, there's bad people. And the people that steal other people's work are bad people. You know, they're in it with their own agenda. They're not here to help you. They're here to help themselves. Which is a fucking tragedy that somebody would go out of their way to do free work, like a number of people have seen on subreddits, and then have that shit taken and put up there by others as if it's their own work. And to see them sharing, like, even the same person's screenshots and so on. I mean, like, they'd be that lazy to not do hide their thievery. You know, it's got parallels with the shit that we're actually doing here, and I hate those fucking cretins. And so if ever this ever somehow makes it to the ears of somebody who's put in work in any arena, whether it be this or something else, and that work has been exploited by somebody else, I empathise, mate. I fucking do. And if you ever want to broadcast your own message, you ever want a space or a platform to do it on, you're welcome to have the small one that we've managed to create here to talk about your work and push your message. I'd happily hear it and the audience would embrace it. And we'd all love to hear from you. So if you feel like you're being pushed around or exploited on any of these places, you're welcome. You're welcome here, 100%. And even if I disagree with you, you might have to put up with me calling you a fucking fanny or whatever, but you'll have your place to speak and the work will be presented as your own, as it is. The thing with the DTC 2021-2005 is that by the rule change, it meant that there was a rule which had changes applied to it, namely the wording of it, and I'm so outstandingly shocked that no one else realised that. Well, Rocky is very good at reading these things. He's spent time looking at it, and he knows that the people who publish these rules would happily laugh at and take the piss out of the people who are trying to improve the system. So he does no imagined respect for these people. He takes things as he sees them, and so should all of you. So there's a debate in chat about whether or not the 005 rule has taken effect, and that debate and that ambiguity is enough of a sign for me to say that we can't make trading decisions on it. And so we're all waiting for further confirmation, and we're all in the same boat. Despite what we may or may not believe, the truth is that there does persist a degree of ambiguity. Reynaldo Moreno, an absolute legend. I was in the bath earlier singing your song, and after it, just as it finished, Ape Andy phoned me, and Ape Andy was in his bath, and there was two grown men in a bath talking to each other on the other side of the world about how much they liked GME, which we do frequently. We also discuss all the different information that both of our communities put to us, and how it's best to, in our own ethical and moral approach, to inform people about what's actually going on from what we know as in our privileged position in between and around the connections between all of you. And that credit belongs to all of you. And so both of us, each Andy and myself, feel like when we get information, we should present it in the most efficacious way, and Rocky as well, as you'll notice yesterday if you watched the stream. We present that information to everybody in the best possible way for everybody as soon as we possibly can. And so earlier this morning, I was listening to Reynaldo Moreno and sitting in the bath talking to Ape Andy, who was also in his bath. Jamie and Ape Andy bathing together on the other side of the world. Yeah, and that's me, right? I'll scream and fucking shout and go mental at you, and 2 minutes later I'll be talking about how I was in the bath naked, talking to some other fully grown man in the bath naked, about things that the only reason for doing it such is because we enjoy helping other people. So just fucking come at me, right? Just come at me with your arguments, with your debate about credibility, with this question of trustfulness. Come at me, right? Does it look like I give two flying fucks? Do you really want to have a fight with me? So I noticed that at some point there, the concurrent viewers went from 797 people down to 260. And now we're back at 733. So from the start until now, we've lost many of the friends that we needed losing and gained new ones along the way, which is very much the cycle of this community. As the members become more transient, and the velocity of the audience and the size of it increases, we cycle in through those who have solid convictions, and we let others go with their own beliefs to other areas where they can believe in things. And we hold no resentment for them. So if they manage to hit like or dislike on their way out, thanks, because both help the algorithm. And if you're here watching now, please do hit like, because apparently that'll give me some benefit when it comes to the nonsense. Did you see Yu Krian's huge DD post on Superstock? That was long but excellent read. I may have, right, and I feel really bad that I can't remember individual people's users' name. Like, when I'll do it when I've got them up on screen, and when I was when I make videos that aren't recorded live, I'd make sure to mention everybody, and if possible, like, which is always is, I put a link to their username on Reddit in the description, and give everybody the fucking credit they deserve. Oh, fuck, I've got more donations and I've been missing shit. And what did I say there? I fucking forgot what I was talking about. Oh, it was the long post, so I didn't see it. But if that was one about the greater economy and the problems that are facing the world at the minute, perhaps I did read some of it. And so if that was you/Creans, then thanks very much. Because whoever wrote it helped me loads and helped loads of other people. And it's good on that person for doing it. So if that's who it was, great. And thanks for sharing that username in chat there. So if anyone wants to check it out, you/CRIAND. That's who check it out. It's obviously, you know how to use Reddit, right? You stick that in at the end of your URL and you'll find them. And then Cuffdam said, where's Cuffdam? Yo, After and Jamie, hope you're good. Here is a cheeky $5 for your dinner. Don't spend it all on the one chippy. Whoa, you know what it's like over your Cuffdam. I'm going to have to spend it all in the one chippy. What did I get a chippy recently? I got a fish supper and it was, what is it? $6, I think, which was a fucking bargain, I reckon. Yeah. So it may all get spent in one chippy, but don't worry, I'll enjoy every mouthful, every morsel. Thanks very much, mate. Rocco Croupy, I've probably missed other things here. Rocco Croupy, keep speaking the truth. You and Rocky, best genuine streamers. Cheers. Well, you know, others come and go, and it's true that it's healthy that the top 1% cycle, but if we ever get anywhere near there, or not the top 1% of YouTubers, but, you know, break the back of what it is to grow on YouTube to a degree, because I'm obviously still at risk. I mean, it feels like this channel's big because it's grown so fast, but it's tiny, you know, and Rocky's even smaller, and he's been around for a number of years doing free education on the internet, only designed to help people. So we will keep speaking the truth, and we are genuine, but to say that we're have a guaranteed future is not yet true. So thank you very much for everybody's support in all ways, because it helps. Thank you. Tradespotting, just curious to know your birth sign. I'm a Virgo. With, I think it's a moon in Mars. And if my attitude is anything to go by, it's right fucking in the heart of Mars is where it is. It's the fucking molten core. I am so fucking angry. So thank you very much for everybody in chat. Thank you for all the people who've done things there. I have to check and see if there's donations I've missed, which I probably have. I'll answer those questions and I'll get into the TA, and then I'll try and stick to doing it for one period of time so that the amazing legend and fucking angel that is Casey Guy, who writes the chapters, is able to at least keep things in a relatively similar place. Lucinda super chatted $5. My t-shirt just arrived and I love it. Appreciate your vids so much. So people are getting I noticed that in chat before it started. People are getting the stuff from unreasonable.shop. You're so lucky. I haven't got mine yet. I ordered it as soon as it went up. So obviously I assume it's coming soon. Postman hasn't been here yet today. What time is it? And he's obviously not coming because it's too late. And then Cuffdam, thanks. So that's amazing, Lucinda. If you're on Instagram, take a photograph of it and tag me in it, please. And if it's possible that I can use these photographs of you guys on a website, let me know, and then I'd do that. If not, I completely understand. 100% respect the privacy of individual apes. And I mean that 100%. Unless, of course, you're trying to lead this community and this movement by some extent, in which case I don't respect your privacy at all, obviously. Likes, people, says Mike. Thanks very much, Mike. And so we had Cuffdam and Rookakupi. We had Psychos, is that right? PSYK0KOWZ. Psychos, like your name if that's it. $5, did you see that? Thanks for saying that, mate, it's very generous. Daniel, super chat, $5. A good Jamie rant is as good as amphetamines in the morning. Should definitely wait until lunchtime before taking amphetamines. Leslie Wright is super chat, $10. Cheers from New York. Thanks for all you do. Wow, thanks, Leslie. And I've heard you have reached the 70% vaccination rate. You need to start loosening restrictions in New York. So fuck yes. You know, despite that, I've not got an opinion one way or the other about the vaccine and all the other shite that goes around with it, you know, despite the fact that I've taken the fucking thing. I've got vulnerable parents, right? So I feel like I'm obligated, whether or not you know, the risk in that, I have to risk management, how I live my life. So, but like the debate itself isn't one I'm interested in having, right? We know I'm on a mission here as it is. We hit 220 spot 36, so, you know, fuck yeah. So that's excellent that New York's opening back up again. It's great news for everybody who lives there, and especially for any small business owner, because you've been fucked over so bad in New York, and I empathise. I empathise a lot. So congratulations on that, and thanks so much, Leslie. That's really good of you, and big shout out to New York City. I fucking love New York City. It's one of the greatest places that has ever existed. Brian Mullen, super chat, $20. Oh, that was before, and he is the hero of his journey, and what a brilliant message. Probably the best message you'll read on this all week. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Joey, for subscribing. Thank you, Psychos, Rocco, Cuffdam, and Lucinda. Yous are all legends, and yous are all really appreciated. Thanks. So this is it. Oh, Daniel again. When you have enough amphetamine, every moment is the morning. Yeah, that's true. When you have enough, every moment is the morning. The only thing you'll ever need to eat is a Mars bar or anything with some sugar in it, and the world soon turns into Super Mario Land. I can tell you from my own experience that you can certainly have too much of a good thing. Thanks, Daniel. And like we get that little gif of the hedgies getting spanked by us, retail. Oh, I do like watching that. Don't know why, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. And we're still on the 1 minute chart. This is the longest I've ever had a 1 minute chart on my screen without throwing up at myself. So well, that should probably enter into the Guinness Book of Jamie Records. Epiphany Jones, it's so great to see you. The Jiu-Jitsu guy, you too. The Sitting Bull, the legend that he is. The Sitting Bull, love you, buddy. Love you, all of you. Don M, how's it going, mate? Great to see you too. Look at all these people, you know. These type of people who are like, on every name I read, you know. And Failure to Deliver, that goddamn legend he is. I love you. Paul Dooley, it's you. Tradespotting, an ape Andy in a bath with rubber ducks and loofahs. The mind boggles. Yeah, I was imagining us with the rubber ducks and thinking of the Bert and Ernie scene. You don't know if you remember that. I was wondering if I was and ape Andy were Bert and Ernie, which would be which? I'm not sure. Fred Frostcrest, how's it going, mate? And Luke Spears. Why are you saying lol? Something funny happening? Sure, that is Bert and Ernie. Of course, that was funny. Of course, I'm funny. Tradespotting. Mind doing the BAC analysis with bearish strategy in mind? Well, I can't do it with a bearish strategy in mind, but I can do it with I just can't do that. I don't even know what it is right now, mate, from the ticker. I can't remember. So I can't do it with a bearish thesis, but I can come up with a thesis doing it, right? And then you can pick the bones from that with what suits you or not. I'll have a look at that in a second. But I would feel that I was betraying myself and the audience if I didn't first do some TA on GME. So I'll give like 15 minutes on GME, and then if you can possibly remind me to look it back, I will. I watched Moas Never Boils. I love you too, brother. No, I seriously do love the work you do, Failure to Deliver. I really do. And I think you deserve so much credit. And as it happens, he's got a YouTube channel, and everybody should go and subscribe to it. Here, you have some Japanese yen. Holy shit, 500 of them. I've got no idea how much that is, but it seems like a lot. If they keep this up, my XXX shares are going to transform into XXXX shares. I can't stop buying. GME is the one true stock. Wow, Kyoto, one day I'll tell you how similar my whole perspective is to yourself. And you know, although I've got what I feel to be a significant position in GME, it's by no means the biggest out there, and by no means will it going up benefit me that much more than the average person. Like, I'm trying as hard as it probably will, but I'm trying as hard as I can, regardless of how much of it I own. I've got no idea how much that is, so I want to say that it's probably a lot, and thanks very much. That's very generous of you, mate. Vic Vince, the legend he is, with his sexy currency, sexy exy kexy. SEK, that's what it stands for, from Sexy Land. As the traveller stripping to Mars, Smith's something massive obscured all the stars. Pardon, I'll stop burping and try and read that properly. As the travellers tripping to Mars, something massive obscured all the stars, an infinite candle with one end in your handle and the other up Citadel's arse. Wow! Fucking Limerick City, that's epic. Vic Vince, I should be paying you the sexy, exy, kexy for saying that. 55 of them too, that's incredible. Thanks so much. This is brilliant. And Christie's here. AV80, love you, buddy. Banana, failure to deliver every time. I love it. Failure to deliver as well. The legend, that's who we're talking about here. It's all about Tree Ferry. 322, 219, spot 26. And there's Jen Ruxret. Cameron Macaulay, yeah, she's okay, but Pink and Ellie, no. Are we talking about individual people here? Well, this is difficult. I can't do that. My role here isn't to do that, and a lot of people that I would feel like that I'm directly personally criticising them. The truth is, I amn't, right? I amn't criticising anyone in particular. And it's true that what I've said applies to a broad range of people. But it's also true that I hate ape-on-ape shit, and I just want everybody to do well, right? So now you'll notice in the past when people in the community have been given shit by people, I'll leap to their fucking defense, regardless of what it costs me personally, right? Because I don't give a fuck what people think of me, right? That's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, because I couldn't give a fuck, right? I couldn't give a flying fuck what someone thinks of Jamie. You know, I've been long used to not giving a flying fuck what people think of me, obviously. So, like, I'm not personally criticising anyone, you know, I'm just saying, like, everybody's got an opportunity for virtue in actions in everything they do, and if there's a big difference between what you're currently doing and the potential for what you could be doing, then fucking up that capacity, right, your capacity is there, so up the effort, that's what I'm saying. If that costs you some personal sacrifice, trust me, the good that we are all doing here makes it worthwhile. I can vouch for that. Which way do I need to sit so that I'm not constantly disappearing off screen? Something like that? Is that better? Yeah, it is slightly better. And the microphone wire is sticking in, and we're nearly ready to get started because I've been on live for an hour or somehow. Right, yeah, here we go, Jamie, here we go. Arnie, legend. Well, in the next movie, the Curran clan will be their own heroes. Yo, well, I mean, also, I'd love to be in that movie, but the way I see that movie, the Eight Together Strong are making, is that it's like, those two guys, like, are very much of the community, you know, so it's what their expression will be. They'll all clearly, like, legit and authentic people they'll be doing what they think is a representation of how the community feels. So, like, I don't want to pressure anyone to put me in fucking movies or that. It's like, what it is, whatever happens that's, you know, this isn't about me. So, but Jesus Christ, would I love it? Yeah, Jesus. And but whatever, right? Like, the truth is, it's not about that. It's just like whimsical thoughts. And if there was, like, you know, the Curran clan will be their own. If I put Rocky ahead of me for every possible honour or reward, like, and that's what I say and mean every day, like, he's the hero of my life. Like, I'll do anything I can to benefit Rocky ahead of myself. And so, anybody who ever wants to help me, you know, you are doing more than you could ever do by helping Rocky. You're doing more than you could ever imagine you might do for me. So thanks. And Arnie, you're a tool legend. Thanks so much. Can I donate to Vic Vince? Lol. Exactly, that's what I've been thinking. Robbie T, I was all in on AMC up till I found your channel. I've now started buying up GME. Legend Jamie from Perth, Western Australia. Yo, shout out to all the Aussies. Nice to see you, Robbie. I love that name, Robbie. Is it not Scottish too? Short, it's like obviously something to do with Robert, isn't it? And it's short that people call that English name, maybe if it's shorted to Bob, certainly, but I don't know. Robert the Bruce was very Scottish. And he was a king. And he was fucking massive. So maybe you've got some of him inside you, Robbie. Thank you very much for that compliment. That's lovely. And big up Australia. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people. Can I donate to Vic Vince? That was that. And Tony Piggins is here, the legend. Morgan Rose, ever present. Luke Spears, the legend. Kevin Wagsell. Yo, mate, how's it going, Kevin? Wagonsel. Gil Kev. I just think of you as Kev. I hope that's okay. Freedom costs $1.05. 216 spot 90. That's what it costs right now. What is it? But it's the difference between AMC and GME. Well, it's like, what is it that makes the difference? Well, you see, that's a very philosophical question, and indeed I think what we're better than asking what is it that separates us, we're probably better off asking what is it that we have in common. And what we have in common is that when people ask me why are, and I tweeted recently, whether you like it or not, AMC are linked, and slagging off one does nothing to benefit the other. Where people say, well, how exactly are they linked? And you ask, how are they different? And that's a long answer, but I can give you the question if it had been, how are they linked? Answer's very short, right? It's linked by you and me. It's linked by everyone else in chat. It's linked by all the people who buy and hold both. It's linked by all the people who bought GME when it was $4, $27, $35, and bought shitloads of it. And then, as they saw the AMC play was on, bought shitloads of AMC. It's both those people who transfer little bits from one and they make some profits, hopefully that and not in a way by adding pressure to the selling price, who then transfer it across back to the other. Those people also link it. I'm not a big fan of people coming out and saying, I sold all of my X, Y, and Z so that I could buy this other thing. I don't think that necessarily helps, but you can say, of course, I bought more of one thing, and that would help. So I understand that people try to help and make mistakes or don't understand the consequences of their actions. Sure, I make that mistake myself constantly. How can we ever truly know ourselves or the implications of what we do? So, yeah. Let it be known, I have a lot of respect for both AMC market participants and GME market participants. But I myself am a GME man. And if someone was to ask me, which one should I invest my money into, I would be able to say to you, I can't give you financial advice. I can't, because it's not moral, it's not ethical, and it's legally debatable whether or not I'm allowed to do it, because this company I'm using, YouTube, they broadcast in America, and I don't want to break rules in other countries, even if they don't apply to me here. I just don't want to. So I'm not actually able to answer that question, which would I buy if I could only buy one. But I think it's probably quite obvious that I, as a GME man, when I up my positions and when I look to the MOAS and when I think about how to slay the hedges, the three letters that come to mind are GME. Now, that's got nothing to do with the fact that my name is GME, and nor am I in any way Tara Verne or a willing leader of any particular movement. That's definitely not who I am, nor do I think that we need that. But I definitely, completely and utterly should be described, if you're talking about me, and have no problem with people who criticize me for being so, 100% a GME man. Okay? Now, in 6 months' time, let's talk about the decision I've made, right, to be a GME man. Fine. When the MOAS is come and done, let's talk about that decision. But until then, I don't want to say anything that'll ever harm one stock or the other, and I fucking hate it when I see somebody in some other community saying something that damages the prospects of the apes. So I call them out on it, and is that ape on ape shit? No, it isn't, because I respect everybody. I give everybody as many chances as they need to do the right thing, and I feel like that I am very much a healer of division rather than a cause of issues. And if you can't see that, then you assume my approach to be unsophisticated, then you, my friend, are a fucking fanny. And go fuck you and everything about you. Christy Bondari super chat $9.99. What's the first thing you'll do post MOAS, Jamie? The first thing I'll do post MOAS is give lots of money to my mum and dad. Then give lots of money to those people who've been nice and kind to me my whole life and have never judged me based on how much money I have. Then I'll give them lots of money. and most of my shares, if not all of them, will still be in GME, so it may not be possible for me to do that, though I wish that it would. And if it isn't, then and I get anywhere with this YouTube channel, then the success from it will go there. You know, like any success I get in life would always go that way. It isn't. I don't need this one-off lifetime event to be a generous, kind person. Like, I've always been doing it. You'll know if you followed along with this YouTube channel that when it first started, I was giving away prizes to people, even though it wasn't a monetized channel, which was costing me money. And subsequently, I had, when we reached 5,000 subscribers, I still hadn't even been paid. I invested more than I was likely to ever earn from YouTube into adopting monkeys. And then, as I saw that the velocity of the audience was still going and growing, I thought, well, fuck, I feel guilty, so I'm going to launch a treasure hunt, which is running. You can see it in the bottom left there, and free for anyone. Someone who fucking hates me, is just as welcome to go out, find the answer to that treasure hunt, win that $10,000, and like, that was the plan. And then it just so happened that, like, amazing people in this audience right now, some of you will be speaking to them completely unaware of who they are, have made it possible for me to keep trading, because I do that for a living, and maintain some quality of life. And I've got shit ass horrible bills because of a pandemic and the situation I was in beforehand with the businesses that I try to run and how I try to live my life. So it is difficult sometimes. So somebody there in chat right now, they're here today, and among other people who did other things to improve the quality of this channel, donated and made it so that not only is that treasure hunt real, which I already knew it was, because I mean, I'm doing it and I know what I'm like, but is there so that you can trust that that's real, that $10,000 there, it's real, it's there. For anyone who finds the answer, it's there. And how do you find the answer? You go through the videos that I find to be educative, that I've produced, you follow the hints that I've laid out for you, and you learn about how to make your own decisions, about how to be an enlightened individual, and about how to trust yourself. And in doing those three things, it's inevitable that one of you will win that prize. That is how the whole hunt is constructed. And I can say no more, because it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be rewarding, and it's supposed to be fun. And so that's it, right? That's all you'll ever need to know about me. If you've got a fucking problem with me, come on, let's talk about it. Let's see who you are. Let's see behind your fucking mask. Let's see what you've done your entire life. Let's see if you're a cretinous bastard with your own self-serving agenda, or let's see if you're really out there to help people. And if you are, I'm with you 100% and will do anything I can to support you, right? I'll do anything I can to support you. Whether you're on Reddit making DD posts, if you're a YouTuber, regardless of the size of your audience, all you need to have is to be obviously putting other people first, like Jackson Hunter, like Rocky Outcrop. All you need, if you want any credibility that I have managed to create, I'll give it to you for free at my own expense, if possible, if needed, in order to help you out. I'll do that. But you will need to obviously, patently, and demonstratably be putting the apes first, right? Like Jackson Hunter, like Rocky Outcrop. You have to put other people before your own success, your own fame. You know, I'm not gonna expose my audience to people, and this audience and our audience and each other. I'm not going to expose you to people who have their own self-interest at heart more than they have your own. Why would I do that? You know, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I give a fuck about people treat each other. I'm not going to further anybody's own selfish agenda. And that. So, like, bear that in mind, right? Bear that in mind. No matter who you are, no matter what influence you think you have on YouTube or elsewhere, I, Jamie Curran, don't give a fuck about bringing the war to your doorstep, and I'll never fucking give up. I'll never give up. And I have been doing this decade after decade after decade in my real life. The number of people who've put me up as their nemesis, who now wish they could be somewhere in the degree of truthfulness and honesty that I've presented my entire fucking life, The number of those people who I've crushed, it stacks up quite high. And if you want to add yourself to the fucking list, be my fucking guest. It's what I live for. And I'll take on anyone, whether that be the leader of our own community, whether that be Michael Burry and his false idol bullshit, or whether it be the largest hedge fund in the fucking world. There is no way you can defeat us. Bing diddly bong, time to piss off the wankers. Can you confirm that we bounced off support with AMC and that we should be going much higher? Cheers. Right, so I'll do that. First off, I'll give you the 15-minute synopsis of GME, because GME is me. I am GME. GME is you. You are GME. That's why you're here. But also, I'm going to look at AMC, because some of us are AMC. But I am GME. Above and beyond all else, I am GME. And GME is me. Right, fucking fuck. Fuck. 15 minutes, right? I speculate that this is now, it's too, this low hasn't gone low enough to invalidate the theory that we were in an inverted head and shoulders or forming a formation that would be representative of that psychology. It's still true. It is, though, true also to say that we're making a series of lower highs, despite the fact that we're potentially making higher lows. Our most recent one on the 15 minutes. Again, higher than here. At times, the strength was also higher, so that's true, that's fine. Back here, we can see that the RSI is lower, the price is higher. That's a degree of here to here. It's obviously lower. So we'll follow that and see how it goes, and we can see that prices are higher right now. It's a degree of, like, is that actually, yeah. Especially when you include the wick, right? You can see that went out. What are your thoughts on AMC today? And getting around AMC, mate, you honestly don't need to donate to get me to look at AMC or GME, right? And we'll be doing it anyway. But every time anyone mentions AMC, I'm compelled to mention I'm a GME man, right? And also I'd point out that Rocky Outcrop has got shitloads more of AMC than me. So if you value TA based on how much somebody holds of it, then you probably value Rocky's more than mine. And if you know what you're talking about with regards to TA, you'll definitely value Rocky's insights more than you value mine, because he's amazing at what he does, and I wish I was as good as him, right? So there's some, like, short-term frame, you might call that divergence. It would be very difficult to see how far that's going to play out, especially because we just subsequently made a higher low. But then again, here is a lower high, and we're also trapped below these. On the shorter time frames, we are trapped below these moving averages. So we'll come back to GME. It doesn't yet see the strength that I would like to see, and we haven't yet had a positive reaction that we would lead us into saying, hey, we've just activated the bull trap, which is my overall thesis for what's happening at the minute. That's influenced by the fact that there are currently more shares available to trade, and a very congested and limited supply where we were before. There is now like an extra bump to the liquidity of the equities that are available, and so there is a degree of flux in demand and supply, and it'll cause these periods of perhaps a tiny dip and then consolidation, right, which would be expressed by higher lows and lower highs, right, a tightening of the range, which would be indicative that we're coming for a break to one side of the formation one way or the other at some point in time. I think that that's representative of the fact that, like I say, there's like a degree of more liquidity on the equity side. So supply and demand changes, and so this may be representative of that. So we'll go back and we'll check in GME shortly, and we're going to spend a lot of time looking at it if you like. Now, a couple of people have talked about AMC and they've asked good questions. Can I confirm that we've bounced off support? Well, I can tell you that I've got various approaches to support and resistance when it comes to bull flags. If you've been following along for a while, you'll think you'll be aware of the fact that I believe that this is a bull flag, right? Which, I mean, it is, right? It doesn't fucking matter what I believe. What constitutes a bull flag is the stuff that this represents. This is a classic bull flag. It does everything that you'd expect of a bull flag. And what it's true to say is that in this period of consolidation, right at the top of the bull flag, the flag element of it, there can be various formations that the flag itself takes. It could be a parallel channel, and it quite commonly is, or it could be more of a wedge. It could be sloping upwards, it could be sloping downwards, as this one is. Those that slope downwards tend to be more powerful. And this is the sentiment that I believe the market is operating under. Right, it's fucking obvious that no one's selling it. Like, compared to your typical assets, I think it's not as obvious as it is on GME. There are instances on this where you could say, I think people maybe are selling this sometimes. Earwigged with the cold hard truth, people have become so passive that this man's words should inject you with primal urges to stand up for yourselves. Andy L. You're a legend, you know. But we can't tell people, unfortunately, the things that should matter to them. And I mean, it's not unfortunate, because when people make up their own mind and truly believe in things, then they're unfucking stoppable. You know, if somebody's committed to a cause, the world will pay attention to them if they're true and authentic and they care about something important. In fact, you'll be desperately needed and are welcomed in it. So always have that confidence in your own beliefs and your own feelings, even if they completely diametrically oppose to my own, right? Happy for you. So I can't tell people, but at the same time, right, that might be able at times to light a fire under people's arse and remind them of the fact that this is not some fucking around chundling choo-choo train, right? Like I've said before, this is a maglev of pain headed to the heart of darkness. Where we're going, we have no time, no room, no space for people with a weak constitution. Where we're trying to go, where we want to end up, is in a place of financial ultra-violence, where there is no room for mercy or consideration or compassion for our enemies. There is only the opportunity to finally extinguish the evil that has been pervading and pervasive and stealing from you and your parents and their parents and quite likely your children, unless we stand up and do something about it. And it's not esoteric. I've explained it to you. It's not out there somewhere. It's in your fucking home. It's in your fucking workplace. It's in your car, and you drive between the two if you're even lucky enough to have a fucking car. Are you talking about Rocky Finance on YouTube? No, I am talking about Rocky Finance on YouTube. And who the fuck is that? I'm talking about Rocky Outcrop on YouTube. Rocky Outcrop. Like, I'm talking about Rocky Outcrop on, not Rocky Finance. Rocky Outcrop. Rocky Outcrop. ROCKY. OUTCROP. He's unbelievable. He's my brother. He's got professional experience. He's got decades of experience teaching and learning about technical analysis, and he's incredibly good at it. And everybody should be subscribed to Rocky Outcrop. I've never heard of Rocky Finance, never heard of him. And fair play to him, and good luck to him, whoever he is. And thanks very much for asking, so I was able to clarify, John R. That was good of you. Thanks for pointing that out. The answer is no. I'm talking about Rocky Outcrop. Who's my, if we have a hero, he's mine. Well, when in the end, Randy's a legend too. Randy is yesterday in Rocky Outcrop's chat, and also he's commonly in mine, is a very sensible approach. I respect Randy P, if it is Randy we're talking about, Randy P. I respect his approach to facts very well, and a lot of people in here are really impressive, all of you. Ooh, look at that. Rocky Opera is a legend, you're telling me. Grudge match. Grudge match. That's also the thing, I don't actually hold a grudge, and while I'll bring the fucking fiery hell upon you in a debate, I'm happy to walk away afterwards, graciously accept defeat if you're right and I'm wrong, and I'll give you every opportunity to prove it to be true as well. I am fair, right? And don't confuse that with reasonable. Don't. Otherwise, you're likely to get very upset when you interact with me. But I'm fair. Just some people don't like fair. There's a guy. TA Deathmatch to see who's the one true Rocky is. Yay. Hi Jamie, I know you're from Scotland, but are you living there currently or somewhere else? Gaza H. I am in our ancient kingdom. Our collection of kingdoms, in fact. I am here. I am in the capital of this fine country. And hope to help it in future. In every way I can. Where are you at, guys? How's it going? Tommy Bremen. Who is Jamie Curran? I thought this was the Bing Bong Finance. This Jamie Curran guy is like 7 foot tall and he shoots lightning bolts out of his arse. He's completely unmistakable. You won't confuse me for him. I'm just here as a messenger of his. And I bring the message diligently and forcefully. Tommy Berman, good one. Nice one. Check out this Discord too, John R. Yo, John R, you're damn right. And if you've never heard of Rocky, which I assume you haven't from your question you're asking, there is a wealth of information there. Free and designed and customized and tailored over years to help people of all different kinds who find themselves new to trading. He's got a Discord with an amazing group of people where he's trying to get 1,000 good traders, like 1,000 really good traders, all on board, all making similar moves. He already has a number of them, and their accounts get bigger and bigger all the time. Now, he doesn't ever push his own book, but those people doing the things they do, operating in tandem, it's like heaven to people who've never experienced this degree of help before. And you're welcome to take as little or as much as you like from the community that helps you, the resources there, such as on the Discord, he's got an education room there where he'll interact with you and try and help you as much as possible across all of the rooms. But in there you'll find a list of books, and those books that help you with trading, and they'll have links to where you can get them. He'll give links to where you could get them for free if you can't afford to pay for them. And some of them have got links to audiobooks if that's how you prefer to listen to them. And that's a curated list of books that he thinks will help everybody from every level of experience. Plus it's got him and a group of people there. And they're constantly out there trying to better their own lives. And everybody's welcome to join. It doesn't cost you any money. It's fucking awesome. So check it out. And I think I saw Cosmic Lightning Warrior in the corner of my eye. And how could I miss him? Because he's like that. Like a shooting star. Like a supernova. Like a fucking magnetron of admiration and attention. We should and are welcome to praise him as he deserves for being such an enthusiastic and fantastic member of what is this amazing group of apes. I think Cosmic Lightning Warrior is an absolute legend, and although we haven't discussed it directly yet, and I haven't responded directly to him about this thing, yes, hopefully we'll get that stream together. Hopefully we can do it this Friday. Yeah, we will probably not look as good as you with the backdrops and stuffs you've got, but we can make it work, even if it is a little bit ooh, a little bit ah. And it would be, both of us, Rocky and I, are looking forward to it. It would be our privilege and our pleasure to share a drunken night with you on stream, talking about GME and shit like that. So, though I haven't got, what day is today? Wednesday already, and I was hoping to do it on Friday. We'll either do it Friday or Saturday if that suits you, if we can. That's my aims anyway, hopefully, if that's cool. And we talk about it obviously more in direct message and that. And I was supposed to do the AMCTA, right? Oh, I was doing it, right? And the question was, took a look at it, and are we back at support, right? I'm going to get around to that in 2 seconds. Oh, it's KK King 1367 in the chat. KK King, absolute legend, supported Rocky and I, but long before me, supported Rocky. He's a really nice guy, does it for no reason other than to be nice. He's a great member of that community. There's so many different people in that community who do so many different things. KK King, K King, Kevin, as I actually think of him when I'm not reading his name out. Kevin has, on numerous occasions, brought my attention to fantastic new projects that he's found through his own due diligence and his own research, and shares all that information with everybody. And he does it in a way you can take and pick. There's no pushing it on you, right? Like, he's not like Michael Burry, who goes on his fucking Twitter page and advertises SafeMoon, right? What a fucking scam artist you are, Michael Burry. What a fucking joke that is. Take that shit off your fucking profile, you irresponsible git. The fuck is that, man? Get SafeMoon off your fucking profile. Have I got a problem with it? Only in that you're a fucking idiot if you think that's the answer. Why are you pushing that on people? You know what people do when you do that. Stop being like that, man. The fuck is that? Top of everything else. My fucking questions I get about SafeMoon because Michael Burry's got it in his fucking profile. Know what I mean? The fuck? Right? The fuck is that? Thought you did your research, mate. The fuck? when I was talking about better options than SafeMoon and that, and I'm not going to go over them again, only to say that the many of them have been brought to my attention by members of Rocky Outcrop's community themselves, who are all leading their own hero's journey. There is no false idols there. And while I don't know, if it is, it'll catch up in a second. I think it's fixed. Do I see it working? I see it working. Right, I'm not going to go over that list again. Right, I went over a list of number of cryptocurrencies. I don't know if the mic was in at the time or not, but like they're all better options than SafeMoon. Right now, I'm not talking about how you could trade them in and of this very second in time. I'm talking about over time. They're bound to make you more money, be less risky, and that's what you want to do. You want to take risk off the table, not act like a fucking fanny, right? And you can't on one hand, right, Michael Burry, you can't on one hand make tweets saying that it's too dangerous to live in California due to homelessness, while also being a cretin that caused homelessness. That's massively hypocritical. Come on at my show and explain to me how it's not. I'll give you fair hearing. I'd love to talk about it. And it's not me that thinks this all exclusively. There are literally millions of people who share this planet with you who feel the same way and would like to ask you that question. So come on here and answer it. You'll never get a better place to talk about that. Secondly, it's massively hypocritical in one tweet to talk about a speculative bubble and on your Twitter profile to be advertising SafeMoon. What the absolute fuck, man? You know what the absolute fuck? Kala. Jamie, I love your heart for people and your passion and purpose. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're so welcome. That's it. That's what it's all about. Cosmic Light and Record, what's the best way to talk to you privately via Discord? Probably. But Rocky's the person to answer that question rather than me. What else have I missed here? I'm so fucking angry. I'm such an angry person. But I'm not. I'm just really care about these things. Like, I really care about these things. When I'm not on stream, I'm not shouting about people. Like, I don't order my Subway in an angry voice. I don't say hello to people in the street by shouting at them. You know, I'm a nice person. In the right ways. But I really care about this shit. Obviously, hence why I'm here. Etc. Right, Andy L super chatted that earwig before I got them. I've not missed anything, right? I don't feel bad. I do feel bad. Like, I do feel bad because even out here doing this, I know that it puts me ahead of other people in a way that I don't ask for and don't demand, right? I don't need and don't want, and in no way am I accepting of that role, right? I just fucking am it, so, you know, I am it, right? Can't find him anywhere. SafeMoon anywhere, are we sure? Can't find him advertising it anywhere, are we sure? I don't know, but I've had people tell me he is, and I'd well and truly believe it, because I see in his tweets yesterday, I looked at them on screen, saw how much of a fucking massive hypocrite he was when he was talking about how staff weren't safe to live in California because of the homeless crisis, which we all know began in California when he started doing his pish! So would I believe that he'd have SafeMoon on his profile? Yeah, I'd believe it. Do I need to check it out? If I'm wrong, I apologise. Does it mean I'm wrong about feeling that he's a hypocrite? No. Does it mean that he hasn't got an opportunity to come back and say that he isn't? Right. Does he have to come on this show? No. Does he have to even tweet at me? No. Does he have to pay a fucking bit of attention to me? No, he doesn't. But does that mean that I'm going to change my fucking mind or not say it in the first place? Doesn't fuck! Good moment to buy. 53.98 on AMC. 215.06 on GME. So like, what's happening on, like, have I said that, like, so the question the guy asked me, have we reached support on AMC? Well, let's go down and see, like, this is what I think about the nature of a bull flag, right? And if you're asking me about support, there's a number of areas of support. What's quite clear is that we're possibly closer to resistance than we are to support. If this bull flag is to operate the way many do and have 3 touches on the top and bottom, well, you can see it's had 1 and it's had 2. On the bottom it's had 1 and it's had 2. So it may well be that this continues on, has 3, and then breaks out, and that may well be the end of this week or next, right? Depending on, you know, there you go, that's just me making shit up, and it's around the 23rd, 24th of June, right? But that sort of thing's very possible. So have we reached support on the pullback? Well, that's either we have, right, and this line that I've drawn in here is perhaps, will be, in retrospect, more like this, which is totally what people might be believing in terms of this is a breakout and this is a retest, but then you've only had 1-2 touches, and a real trend line, one that you can actually use to extrapolate probabilities from, has 3 touches any less, and that's just not something I can use in my trading. I don't know about you or how you do it, but I've never fucking been, I wish I could just use 2 touches to identify a trend line, have some other factor that confirms it to be true, but in all my 18 years of doing it, I've never found one. So to say that this is support is again debatable. It may come to prove to be so in retrospect, and I'm not out here to put FUD around or anything. I'm trying to tell you the way it is with technical analysis from a point of view of where you'll get the best entry. And what do I think about entries? Well, anywhere's a bargain if it's going up loads, and I think they're both going up loads. So the question is up to you, and the question then is how many can get at certain prices. And obviously you'll get more if it would go anywhere near that price down here. That would involve it making a low on price action. Previously, when it did that down here on this close, that was convergent with the RSI, and it was represented as you would expect on the DMI. There was no shockingly horrifying news there. We can say that on the retrace of this prices, when this high, we can see that there is a large degree of divergence between these two highs, right? This is much lower. This is, no, it's not divergent. There and there. We can see that this is convergent in that it's lower, so perhaps it would turn around and come down, and we'll see the strength come in at what would then prove to be true support. And we could analyse that high, and don't want to spend too long on doing this because I haven't done as much on GME, and I'm a GME man. I can't emphasise that enough. But if you're looking at this, that's not it, and I've already got fibs there. It just showed up. That low to that high, prices have come back below the 236. They've also dropped below the 282. So it may well be that even though we're on this 4 hour, the 20 period moving, the exponential moving average, and that could in itself provide support, it may well be that this needs to go down to the 0.5, and then your support would be at like 52 or something and change. A slightly less bullish, but also positive retrace if it only goes that far is down to just 49, just sub 50 a tiny little bit, 49 and change. But then these are just fib levels, and in and of their own, without support from horizontal resistance, or without horizontal support or resistance, pardon me, it's hard to define that as truly support, right? And we're to project it in advance and say that it might be it, or indeed that here is it. It's very difficult, as it is with two touches on a trend line right now. I know that this could constitute one from the top, and afterwards then you could say like that resistance had been support. But again, it's diagonal sloping, right? And I don't put stock in those things. So I can't really necessarily say this has broken out, right? And I can't necessarily define this to be support reliably on your behalf. I can't do that, right? Right. And I can say that when you break the 236, it's quite common you go as far as this. This fib's going from. Where the fuck is this fib going from anyway? I'm just going to delete that and do my own one. If that was my own one, this move. I just selected it, mate. This move from here to here. Right, here's your 236. We've gone through it, and when you do, you commonly go to the 618, and that'd bring in a 4090. It may well be that 4090 is support, and by that stage on the 4 hour chart, your 55 period mover average has moved up to that area. And let's just quickly knock that in with a horizontal line, say that's potentially an area of horizontal support. It would be more signs that it would be than any other numbers that I've said until then, right? Especially if that moving average is closer to it at the time. And then we'll go down to another timeline where you might be able to make decisions, and you could say, well, on the shorter time frames, maybe this is right. You've got a positive cross on the 100 and 200 here. You've also had a positive cross. This is only a 30-minute time frame, right? And it may all be that these moves have already paid out. You've also had the golden cross here, which is the real one to pay attention to. On the 30 minutes, not so much, right? Or at all. And when people talk about it, they traditionally like to focus on the daily, and that's where it is, or a weekly if it should happen. But at that stage, you're getting a death cross on the weekly, probably like long out of that trade, or else we've got a different type of position management, which is fine, whatever works for you. And so you're asking me this question that is important about our support, and you've got various levels before there where it might prove to be, but you've got this on this down, you've got like this is reasonably convergent. This, it can't, like, if this were to turn around, it would be lower on price and higher on RSI, and there may be another short-term boost, and that might be the start of what could be forming a support line here, right? This diagonal line could be that 382 fib catches it, could be, but this doesn't seem to suggest necessarily that the move is over yet. And DMI, similar story. The downtrend just started picking up some pace. This recent print shows that both the negative trend is increasing as the strength of that trend increases and the positive trend is decreasing. So to say that this move is over on 30 minutes is stretching it. You go to the 15 minutes and it's the same picture, right? In fact, it's gaining some real strength now, this downtrend. And I say downtrend, I mean this particular tiny focus on time frames. And yeah, I'm not hyping everybody up with the potential. I'm talking about like the real facts and how you do this shit, right? So fuck knows what the other YouTubers that have got the hundreds of thousands of subscribers are telling people when they look at their TA. Like, I don't know what they're doing in those moments when things are going sideways. And I've had messages from people recently saying like they appreciate that I try to give educative content when I see it happening rather than talk shite about other stuff. And like all my stuff is on topic, and if you think it's not, then you don't know what my topic is. And trust me, you don't know any better than I do, right? So there's me answering questions that nobody ever asked me. Right, so that's what you're looking at. You'll think this will probably continue. I do for a wee while. Do I think that's a problem? No, I think this is a bull flag, right? It's incredibly bullish formation. One of the most bullish formations you're ever fucking likely to get, and the price is taking us to $100 plus. It's just what a question the guy asked is, are we at support? And I gave the argument for it, right? Which is really, like, on shorter time frames, it is important moving averages, but those are shorter time frames. It's diagonal support, which is diagonal, so it's not worth shit all unless we're talking about the weekly chart in my mind, right? I know a lot of people do care about diagonal support, so I'm not over the top derogatory about those people because some of them I respect, but I think it's fucking stupid, right? I think it's fucking stupid. But it may well prove to be support. It does commonly. Not commonly, but not uncommonly, it will happen. And so, why is that line there? Why is that line there? Oh, that's the drawing I did for what might happen with price action. But what did I just delete there? So anyway, yeah, I don't know what these other YouTubers are talking about, but like, but not that matters. Just like, I've got messages about it going sideways, and this is what I talk about with price action. It's not about getting people hyped for the wrong reasons. I don't want people to lose money. And like I say, buy at support, not resistance. So I'm glad that people ask me where is support, right? Rather than should I buy it? And then I can have a serious adult conversation. Because the short answer to that should I buy it is yeah. Well, like what? Obviously, why do you think I make these YouTube videos? What think's going on in the world? But I support, where is it? So like that's what I'm talking about, right? And I'd be looking actually personally that I'd be thinking it would probably get around to like 48, like that sort of price, and then you could see something happening because, like I say, in a 4 hour there's a reason for it to be caught there with regards to the 618 and this 50. Why is there 2 fibs here again? It's because my chart spread out differently. There. Nope, still not spread out enough. Like it's a 618 on the fib that we're in here, but obviously there's this other fib rate that we were talking about here, and things could get bad for AMC or good for AMC. Like, I'm not saying necessarily one way or the other, but like if the fib was there, and you're like, well, what else would catch us? Let's just draw our dominant fib in, right? Which should be from, you could debate it, right? Like there's a bottom and there's a top, right? And people would do it there often because they think this is where the move began. That's fine, but on the log chart in the 4 hour, you know, it's also true to say that that's like an area to draw this exact same, what you think is this the laddering fib you're on, right? This Fibonacci sequence of this move, and it can true to say that it. Why is that like that? Oh, it's because I started down here and I've tipped off it. So this is this upward thrust, and on that, you know, the 236 comes in at 32 bucks and change, or like give or take a little bit. So there's that to look at too, right? And they're all healthy retraces on significant time frames, which should be totally normal to test. And on the 4 hour on AMC, when prices were down here at the bottom of this flag, I said this is a buy, and don't ever tell me that I'm not good at doing TA or that I'm not interested in people who will do MC. And I told people this is your buy at 40 bucks, 39 bucks, 38 something. We also told people all the way through this, you know, and like people have got credit on YouTube for saying shit and that. I was there with Rocky telling people on internet you can check it. These prices were all buys. I was telling everyone, they're out here like, oh, you saved my life. Other people who didn't even buy it here, right? They bought it at $9 and they're on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers telling everybody, oh yeah, I'm so glad that I was able to help people. And you didn't. You just fucking jumped on the hype train. The truth is, it was people like Rocky who were saying buy it at $4, right? And that's not criticising the big people, because there's a lot of big people who did get it at $4, and fair play to you, and I've got a lot of respect for you. And everyone who you helped, well done, right? But the people who didn't, go fuck yourselves. Like, stop pretending. You're just lying bullshit out here trying to self-serve an agenda. Fuck off, right? Fuck off. Hey. So this is the fib you're operating under. This is the move we're still going through. This is huge for AMC. It has been for fucking ages. This is a bull flag. It's a very bullish formation, right? Bull flag, incredibly bullish. It's a period of consolidation at the top of a trending move. For that move to continue onwards, it's like just more of the same, mate. Look at the log chart. Look at it when you zoom out to the 12-hour time frame. It's like, whoa, right? This is fucking whoa. So something does before it goes parabolic. So there you go, right? And where's your entry on AMC? Well, if you're desperate to get more of it for your money, it's available, which a lot of people who trade AMC are doing it because they want to cause the squeeze and they're picking between one or the other. Then they invest in GME or EMC and they're looking for it at the cheapest possible price because they want to get the most of it. And what I would explain to those people is you're living under a false narrative, right? This paradigm, like one or the other, it doesn't exist. And you can, in most places, buy fractional shares. And I'm a GME man, and I'm obligated to tell you that I believe it's going to do much better. And people might say, well, but GME will go higher monetarily, Verms, but AMC is going to go higher percentage-wise, so I'm sticking with AMC. And I'd say, sorry, mate. Sorry. No. No, you're wrong, right? You're just looking through a particular window and like defining things to help your bias. The truth is, GME became this play in around $4, right? AMC became a play in around $4. GME is currently at $213. AMC's only made it up to $52. Trust me, if you've been playing these two from the start, you know the answer is GME. You do. You know it is in every possible sense. There's less shares available. It's got a bigger market potential. It's got a bigger addressable market. It's got a much higher and much more lucrative value chain. And it's like a growing market, right? It's a huge growth market. Whereas in AMC, it's not the same picture, right? Despite the fact that I believe in AMC, these are distinctions that are true. So while you might be able to get AMC in around that $36, you might be able to get it, and that'll put in divergence here, and it might confirm this again as another lower low on this bull flag, and then this take off really, really high because there's divergence and there's the momentum, and I fully expect that to happen. And I'm telling you, AMC is going to $100+. I still believe in GME and 213.89. Like, you'll often find me doing TA that's very, very bullish when prices are going against me. And why is that? Why do you do that, right? Well, you buy when everyone else is afraid, right? This is the psychology of the market. I know what this is. This is designed to trick you. I know, because I worked somewhere where we came up with ideas about how to trick you and what it would look like here. I know all about it, right? This, bing bong, the price is wrong. Trust yourself and your own research. So do I think this is a buy? Of course. Does that mean it can't go down to 180? Does that mean it can't go to 177? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Could quite likely happen, right? Could break, right? This could, on GME, this could be, well, fuck it, we broke the 236 on this. We've gone down here, we're going to the 618. We've got this other support here. We've got X, Y, and Z. You get to the 618, it's 194, 192, right? And then slip below it on a wick. You come down maybe even 155. That might happen. It might even be true that though we can see this on the technical analysis that there's a chance of that happening, though we can see from the RSI that it may be true that the prices are being pushed and that this 4-hour resistance or support that we've had on the supply side might be being overcome, it may also be true that simply Citadel are completely fucked, right? Let's imagine this scenario. Citadel, completely fucked. Melvin Capital, they're completely fucked. Susquehanna, they're completely fucked. And a number of smaller ones you've never heard of, they're also completely fucked, right? Let's imagine that. Let's imagine that this huge financial system that's insidious and pervasive and being abused constantly. Let's imagine that those people that are doing that don't have your best interests at heart. I know, crazy, right? But let's go with it. Let's run with it. And let's say, now they know they're fucked. They're looking at these charts. They're looking at these rules, the 005. They're thinking, maybe that fucks our ability to start screwing with the failure to deliver cycle that we've been so abusing so much. And then they're like, shite, this says apparently this 002's coming into effect on Monday. Fuck. That's really going to fuck with our shenanigans. What are we going to do? Maybe we'll take this liquidity we've seen in the equity and we'll get as many of those shares as we can. What we'll do is we'll borrow all of those that are available for us at a price that we can manage. And we'll use that ammo to push prices down, and we'll push it to the place on the charts where people would be worried. And then at the same time, right, through our spidery networks, through our bullshit ecosystem where we use to spread FUD and lies, let's get our brokers on the line. Let's get eToro, right, who we know we can control because, hey, we are the provider of these shares. We hold them. We are the DTC members that control the fucking world. Let's just tell these brokers, you do what we fucking tell you if you want to keep operating. And people like eToro, perhaps they think, well, it's not worth the fight. No, I'm not going to take on Citadel. I just here running a business. I don't want to join this movement. I don't want to put my own company's existential purpose in front of this train. So instead I'll just put my hands up and I'll phone round my clients, right? Maybe I'll phone them up and be like, the economy does look kind of bad. Things are bad. There's this divergence left, right, and centre. And I decided to give all of our premium customers a phone call just to tell you, it's wise to put in a stop loss. This is wise, right? This is wise. And maybe you should do that because you've not got a very diversified portfolio. I see you're holding a lot of GME and perhaps too much AMC, but certainly too much GME. And so maybe you should think about putting a stop loss on. And, where would be a good area? Well, perhaps somewhere around 196. If you're really risk tolerant, you might go in at 180, 177. And then further to that, maybe if you're really, really over the top risk averse or very much afraid of losing money and have got a deep entry point, maybe you'll put your stop loss at somewhere around 155 or the low 150s. And then let's imagine Citadel take all those borrowed shares, they take the abusive way that they treat their downstream value providers like brokers, they take this in an unethical and moral attitude. Let's imagine that that's possible and that they've caused these orders to hit the books so that they, with their borrowed shares and their manipulated brokers, are able to push the prices down there, cause those stop losses to trigger, and then collect shares with which they can prevent immediate disaster come Monday and give themselves some more breathing room. And perhaps you would be the victim. Perhaps you will be naive and stupid enough at this stage of the game to enter a stop loss. Perhaps you'd be stupid enough to do that. Perhaps you'll give them that gift of breath by being stupid enough to use a stop loss. Perhaps you will. Let's imagine that's what's going on right now. Let's imagine that's what's happening. So it's quite possible prices can go there. And what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The same thing I've always fucking done. I'm going to hold on to my shares. And if it gets cheap enough when I've got money, I'm going to buy more fucking shares. And I'm going to fuck all of these people by doing the one true trading strategy that has always worked and will never fail, which is holding and never selling at a loss. Right? Now, if I die before that happens, then that doesn't matter because I'm investing what I can afford to live without. And that's what millions and millions of others are doing. And we're not fucking naive enough to use stop losses. In fact, we look for dips to buy, okay? Now, there's memes about that alone. So if you're a fucking tube that thinks that putting a stop loss in is a good idea, and that you're going to argue with me that it's only to protect your own risk management, when I fucking know, having done this for the best part of 20 years, there are other ways to manage your risk. There are other ways to manage a position. There are better ways to make money than being a tube. Right? You want to have that fucking argument and do it. Let's have that argument. Let's watch the prices over a period of time and let's see who it is owns a big chunk of the biggest company in the world in a few years' time. Let's talk about back in 2021 when tubes were on the internet talking about systemic failure and trying to pump nonsense while at the same time telling you that the things you've invested in perhaps aren't worth the money. Let's see what happens in the future. As it always has done, as the markets always have worked, as those with money have always tried to. Let's see if you're susceptible to manipulation. The charts are what they are, but as you, as an individual, are you susceptible to the manipulation? Are you? Still, when somebody who's worked in that environment has told you it's all designed to control you, will you fight for your mind the same way I would fight for my fucking body? Would you? Do you? At 213 spot 59. You might also look at things like, look at the volume that goes on like after hours. Look at the price moves that change in after hours trading. Look who it is that's making money with such little effort because they're able to exploit the low liquidity on the books and they've got such huge bank balances. Who are these institutions that make money? Where is it that the price moves? And how do you benefit or get screwed? And as a retail trader, you typically get screwed. But if you're able to hold and take advantage of these post-market moves, and if you look back on time and see that, well, throughout any 1 year, there are only a few days when prices double. There are only a number of times when you can take exponential gains from trading. And when you think about the fact that it's nearly impossible to predict the moment of these moves, and frequently they happen when markets aren't even open, then you, my friend, will come to the conclusion that I reached, that the only answer is to buy and to hold. 213 spot 77. So let's continue this technical analysis on GME. As you can see here, we've put in 3 touches of divergence as the price was increasing, and on the 3rd touch, you see a move, commonly. If that move breaks the 236, which it typically does when you've had 3 touches of divergence, which can be confirmed across your oscillators, and which they are here, 1, 2, 3, strengthening, but this you can see is also reflected with the negative trend increasing here. So there is a degree of warning being given here. There's also divergence here, and if we have the MACD up, you'd say there's a touch of divergence there in the start of the move. No, but at the end of it, possibly. So you're looking at this and you're like, well, there is going to be a pullback. Now that pullback went beyond the 236, so here. So you could anticipate in it making to the 618, which is down at 194. It hasn't done that yet. You know, it hasn't done what I might have expected it to do yet. That's because when it put in this lower low from before, there was a touch of positive divergence on the smaller time frames. As you can see, prices lower, RSI higher, right? There's bullish divergence there. There's a sign of strength. But then over here, there was a lower low on price action and a higher high on the RSI, which is then again a sign of weakness. And this is a confusing picture. If you look at these 2 bits of information alone, do they predict the future? That's not what they're trying to do. So to say that they don't work is kind of ignoring their purpose in the first place, right? Now, why would anybody be doing that? Well, perhaps it's from a place of ignorance. They just don't understand. That's not a critical point I'm making, you know. It's just the nature of ignorance. Or perhaps it's worse. Perhaps they're a fanny. Anyway, so you're looking at this and you're like, this is lower lows, higher lows, and lower highs. It's a period of consolidation. It may be that prices are building up. Maybe momentum's building up. What is that momentum? Well, the DMI is a good way of looking at that, and so is the MACD. So let's see if we can slap them all on together and do some work with them all at the same time. Will you let me do that? Yes, it will. Right. I mean, again, we're on the smaller time frames, so bear with me. But your downward momentum is weakening at the same time as this price is stalling at these levels, right? So if at the very least you could see that there was Class B divergence on the MACD, Class B bullish divergence. You can also say that there are touches of bullish and bearish divergence within this. Might also be true on this time frame, like that. that can't be your low. It's not the low on the RSI while it is on the price, so it's not really correct to draw that there. The truth is you'd have to draw it here, at which point you can see, well, this low is actually lower than over here, right? And the price on the prices, but the indicator is higher. So you're like, well, actually, maybe when you look across this piece, you can see that this is actually bullishly divergent. Maybe this fuckery that we can perceive here, right? This like manipulation of your psychology via the charts is actually just that. It's actually just bollocks. And even if the price does drip down, there are people who'll buy it and they'll keep buying it, and that this is not a problem. And if anything, it's just an opportunity to buy it cheaper. Maybe you look at it like that. I certainly do. So like, there's your targets down the downside, and if it happens that prices go down that way, there's the reason why people will buy it. And if you think for 1 second that this is game over, or that things are worry for some, or that it's unhealthy, or that there's some problem, then just rewind and look at what I've said earlier. So we covered downside targets and that, and then this is our fib here, and we can also look at this and say, well, what is it, the nature of this fib, right? It could be we take it from the ultimate high here, and we did it with that when we took it across. We took it to our most reliable bottom on this, and we went up the time frames to find it. So let's just stick on this time frames and go with a similar process and actually measure it from its actual high here rather than the stop of this drop, which we can then move it to. We will do that afterwards and look at it, but let's say it's from here. What area do we want to recover? Well, ideally we'd like to see prices above 233, because then we'll be above the 236. We can confirm that this downtrend has now begun a retracement that we can classify as correct, right? It is officially now a retracement, and it'll have to get and stay above 233 for that to be the case. If it can open and close there, maybe up as long as a 4 hour, it might not take that, right? But if it can do that, then the next place I expect it to go is up towards the 618, right? But when on its way there, it will have to go through a number of other things, including these fib levels, right? Including the fib levels of its previous retrace, and it'll have to break through what could be seen to be resistance, which was previously support, and that level is again across here at the 233 level. You'll find that there's another period of that where this part of the upward price action paused and reaccumulated, and we're below that area. It's where there is a point of control in the visible profile range, and it may be that there's a degree of hesitancy there, and so this is something we have to look out for should prices make it up again to the 231s, which inevitably at some point they're going to. Shout everybody in chat, thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for watching and tuning in. It's really appreciated. Every second of watch time helps the algorithm, so thanks. And if you feel like hitting the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're even just stopping by for a second, I appreciate you. Thanks. So yeah, this is what we need to see. We're looking for prices to break above 233 and put in an open and close on the 4 hour candle. You could see it on an hourly and maybe expect something off it. But on the way to 281, which is I expect where the prices would try to get to, we've got to get through a number of other areas. I've got the fib on twice here, so I can see that. So you want the prices to go beyond 233, then you're going to have to break through the 30 minute 200 period moving average, and now I consider that to be relevant. Other people might not, and it also comes in or around this. Is it the 382? It is, but I can't get it up for you guys to see it unless I move it across here. Why is it fib of that right now? Moved it a wee bit, so I'll put it back. And is that right? No, I've moved it down. So what was I talking about there, chat? Yeah, the 200 moving average, and that it comes in at the 382. So again, you might see something issue there, which is why yesterday I said that 249, 250 might be where you'd be looking for the prices to go on an upthrust, and beyond that, you would have to then look again and do this sort of thing again, and then measure relative strength and compare that to the same move you're in and the overall move you've come from, and then you'll be able to derive realistic targets. And when I say targets, this isn't for paper-handed fannies to try and make money off my TA by day trading, right? This isn't, right? And if you're doing that, you're an immoral, unethical bastard, right? Because I put this information out there to help people manage their expectations so that the apes can be strong together, so that nobody needs to be anxious about price action, so we're all aware of what's going on. And if you're taking that information and using it to day trade, then you're a fucking fanny, right? And I know that I fucking hate you, What you could do instead, and I'd be all for, is add into the gamma squeeze by buying options, right? It's fucking obvious where and when you do it. You may not have that many more chances because of all these new rules coming out. And god damn it, man, there's loads more money to be made there anyway. So don't add to the selling pressure. Think about what you're fucking doing. Have a slightly more sophisticated approach. And if you're trying to be a paper hand, do it in a way that'll aid the cause, not harm it. Am I back? Let me check. Yes, it seems as though I'm back. Excellent. Seems as though I'm back. Fantastic. Right, so everything's looking good. Is it? Yeah, 213 spot 5. Is that good? Well, but prices were 300 plus that not that long ago. It's yes, like prices oscillate. They go up and they go down at different times. And sure, you know, we've got targets up above there and they were valid at the time. And we also said that these other things might happen. And here we are in those things. And they're happening. So let's see how that evolves. Also along the bottom of the chart there you'll see bit.ly/Tradespotting chart, right? That's my chart. It's there 24 live, 24/7 for anyone who wants to follow it along. You can do it when we're watching the streams. It's free. Other YouTubers are going to be paying for it, or charging people for it. I could easily charge for it, or I could put it only for members, and maybe I will if this channel doesn't grow and get bigger. Because at the minute it's not worth my time to be doing it, despite the fact how generous everybody is. It isn't. Like a number of days, most days I'll walk away and I've made like approximately $8 to $13 an hour doing this stuff, right? I get fuck all money from adverts. I'm not telling you I want more money. I'm telling you I try to do everything for free, and in an economic system where people are actually rewarded in terms of money for the stuff they're doing, it doesn't necessarily work, right? So I try everything I can, but at the same time I'm not here to exploit people who can't afford it. So you'll see that the unreasonable shop is entirely unreasonable, and it's for a reason. It's so that the people don't have much money don't buy stuff off it. It's only for people that have done well, and it's the same way everything else about this channel. And I'm not saying donate money to the channel. I'm saying I do things for free, and sometimes it's not sustainable. But it will work if this community grows, and that means nobody has to pay for anything because YouTube does adverts, and like that makes it all fair on everybody. If you can bear to put up with a number of adverts, if that's not the end of the fucking universe for you, then this thing can go on forever. So like, if you are thinking about supporting the channel and you do appreciate things like that, which you have to use the capitals that I've got in that URL if you want it to work, otherwise it won't. Or you can find the link in my description that's like the straight up link without a bit.ly shortener on it to make it easier for you. That's why I put that there. But if you don't find it easier, the link is in my description. You can copy and paste it. But the biggest thing anyone can do to help this channel and help me and help each other is to share it with their friends and that. And even if they're not your friends, even if they fucking hate you, if you share it with people, it benefits you. So that's why I'd ask of you to help me in that way. It's still 23.50. Is my chart frozen, or is it actually still the same fucking price? This is doing the same thing it was doing yesterday, where it just sits there for ages. The volume gets completely destroyed. It's going to lead to a big move, and it's going to lead to being really violent, and it may well be that this does just crash straight through the 236, fuck that 200 average, go straight up to the 618, and then come back and sit on top of it, and it could be that we go straight to 283. Now that's a very, very in your fucking face bullish ass shit to be saying when prices are going against you, when volume's being crushed, when there is confluence on various indicators that it may actually continue on downwards. That though is very bullish, right? It's very bullish. So anyway, this is how it is, right? Now I've covered a number of aspects of technical analysis, probably better than anybody else will give you on TA with regards to GME and AMC today, other than Rocky Outcrop, my brother, the person who's better at doing this shit than perhaps anybody else you're ever likely to meet. And I don't say that lightly. And I don't put expectations out there for then people to be disappointed. You know that about me. So, right, trust me on my recommendations that I believe what I'm saying, right? That's all you need to trust. And what I am saying, hear that, which is that Rocky Outcrop will help you. And anything you do for him helps me more than you'd ever know. So if you want to, then it's appreciated. You're always appreciated. Right, 213 spot 99. I've done the TA. I opened up and I talked, right? I talked about how I felt. Yes, I had 3 or 4 things written down that were constituted a number of sentences, maybe 6 or 7. And at points I read those sentences out. But most of what I said was me talking about, I can't remember what it was now, I said it at the time, stream of consciousness. But you'll have noticed that I wasn't on camera. If you hadn't been here before, you might not even trust the words I was saying. And that's the problem with anonymity. That's the problem with this dearly cherished, tightly held idea of privacy, which comes from the Greek. And the etymology of that word, when you get right down to it, is the same as stupidity, right? That is the construction of the language that has left you with that word and that feeling of security that you get from hiding in your privacy. That word comes from the same place as the word stupidity. Don't believe me? Look it up, right? Look it up. You think you can hide behind your anonymity? Because that's all it'll ever provide you with, a place to hide. Is that what you want? Why do you want that? Why would you need that? And on top of that, you'll know, if I'm speaking to you, if this is reaching the right person, you'll know the potential benefits that you can do from other people by making tiny sacrifices and standing up and speaking and showing everybody who you are when you do it. So bear that in mind. Think about it. Think about your life, and rather than wonder where it is that you're going to be able to take profit, think about how rich you're going to be after things have worked out, and try and draw distinctions between which investment you think other people should make. If you're desperate to do those things, consider the benefits to everybody else of the small sacrifices you could make by being who you are, showing everybody what you mean by being who you are. And think about the problems it's going to cause for everybody if you insist from now until the end of the MOAS on remaining anonymous. And then imagine what will happen if you or one of your supporters was to say about Tradespotting that he hasn't earned the trust, that he may be susceptible to shill, or he may be corruptible in his approach. Imagine, right? Imagine saying that about me. Imagine how I'd react if it wasn't true. Imagine how I'd feel about you. Imagine how the rest of my entire life will be about not only proving how legitimate I am, but I'll take immense satisfaction in destroying those who come against me, and indeed those who come against any of the people that I respect or support. Because, and this is to all my friends now, I'll do anything that it takes to help you. I'll do anything that is needed to cause the squeeze. I'll be there through all of the times when it's dipping into the mayonnaise, and all of the times when it's reaching for the moon. And I'll always, always put you guys first, no matter the personal sacrifice. So imagine you're against me. Is that where you want to be? 2sun6.00. We've had a slightly different kind of stream today. We've had very much the same Jamie. But that's the way it goes. It's just a new chapter. It's just the latest page. We are turning over leaves all the time, on our way to the mystery's final page. Who, my friends, is the final page? You. Who is the gin? Who is the boy in the gin soak boy? Who is that? Is it you? Is it me? Is it us? Or is it some anonymous person? Is it some ghostwriter? And who leads your community? Is this autobiographical? Or do we have a ghostwriter? Are we leading our own hero's journey? Or are we following somebody else's agenda? We make our own decisions. We take our own risks. We buy and we hold. And we are undefeatable. tune in to Rocky Outcrop later today for the best technical analysis you'll see on GME or AMC, likely this week. Or don't, it's your loss. I love yous, and thanks again to Jackson Hunter, to Cosmic Lightning Warrior, to Rocky Outcrop, to Eric Crown, and to Mitch Ray for all the great work you do. Whether or not you're a supporter of the cause, you're great the way you educate people and allow them to make their own decisions. And I commend you all, especially you, Rocky Outcrop. You're a absolute legend. You and Jackson Hunter are bros. We are 8 family. Let's take these mofos' headphones down. Revolution time. Cameron Mirza. Yo, Cameron, you're a fucking legend. Aaron, yes, Rocky, fucking right. So right, yeah, we've covered it. We've done it. We've seen everything, right? And if you want to idolize people, if you want to put personalities up there, put those ones up there who put those people there that deserve it, right? Put those people there who you can see have made a personal sacrifice, right? Those people who've made a personal sacrifice, regardless of what it might have got them monetarily, they took risks that were way above those that normal market participants take on the behalf of other people. Those people, give them the respect. Because you will always choose your leaders, whether they want it or not. It's your choice. Our barred suitcases were piled onto the sidewalk again. We had found longer ways to go, but no matter, the road is life. Jack Kerouac. Arnie, you remind me of Jack Kerouac. And there, from one amazing American hero to a future one. Thank you very much, Arnie. You're a legend, and so is everybody else who's been involved today. Really appreciate you all. Really appreciate everything you've done for this stream. Arnie McInnes, got a new member, Psychos. Thank you so much. A few subscribers, thank you guys, you're all appreciated, really desperately appreciated, love it. Wow, there's loads of yous, thanks. Kala, Jamie, love your heart for people and your passion and purpose. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're so welcome. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And End Earwigs, we covered all that. I love yous all. Thanks. You've heard me. You've heard my thoughts. You know who I am. If you've got a fucking problem with them, problem with me, you know where to find me. It's come up on the bottom of the screen underneath my picture many times. I'm King Jamie the First at Instagram. Come at me or say hello. Either is perfectly welcome. You know, I'm on Twitter, _Jamie _CRRAN. I'll talk to you on Twitter, right? You want to have an argument and make yourself look stupid in public? Let's fucking do it on Twitter. Or you want to say hello? I'm there. I'll happily say hello to you. And also remember, there's $10,000 out there for somebody, and all you have to do is